Now, I like a good rescue story. I like, somebody being rescued from a crime or a punishment that they themselves are at the receiving end of. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be insensitive and say that this, over the last couple of days, the mainstream news has been fixated on the rescuing of this US um, kind of fighter pilot who was downed in Iran and kind of rescued after 24 hours or so. Because primarily because the US is the evil, in the balance of good versus evil, the US and Israel are quite clearly the ones who are more evil, more unethical, more immoral, and more morally degraded than the country of Iran. Iran was the one that was attacked. Iran is the one that is at the receiving end of what Trump is saying is being bombed to the Stone Ages. Um, Iran is a country who's had its leader kind of like assassinated. Iran is a country who have been bombed non-stop since the leader has been assassinated. And Iran is a country whose a civilian infrastructure, which includes a girls' school where 160 plus girls were killed in a strike. And no, anyone who has any doubts about the cause of this attack, well, you just look at what the counterintelligence, American counterintelligence officials or former officials are saying that it was quite clearly a Tomahawk missile, and therefore it was American strike. And considering that America and Israel pride themselves on precision striking, the fact that they bombed a school, irrespective of whether it's 600 meters away from a IRGC military camp or not, quite clearly they know what they're shooting at. It's not some mistake, because they haven't concluded that it is a mistake. They're simply deflecting, denying, and just digging themselves into this hole. Now they're hoping that the world will just move on, forget about this horrific war crime, and they can paint themselves as the do-gooders in this situation. Quite clearly, Trump is flailing. He's panicking. He's even admitted that. Rather, he's not giving any kind of moral argument for the bombing of Iran. He's consistently making threats of bombing the civilian infrastructure if Iran does not, maintain or the Strait of Hormuz as open, and also agreeing to some ceasefire deal with the ball clearly in America's court. Now, this is an act of panic by Trump, because quite clearly he started this war with the aim of having the same result of Venezuela, where they took out the leader, or whether they decapitated or killed or just kidnapped the leader, and saw a complete regime change with the US taking over the oil stocks of Venezuela. The thing is, Iran is very much savvy to the tricks being played by the US. The US being completely hands-on in the political history of Iran. Of course, let's not forget that it is because of the overthrow and the coup of the democratically elected secular Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, somebody who was very much keen on the liberalization, the improvement of women's rights, the fact that he was literally voted in by popular vote, the fact that the US just completely spat on Iranian democracy, and did a complete disservice by installing a US-friendly Shah, who ended up being overthrown by a grassroots Iranian revolution in the form of the Islamic Revolution, which is where we are right now. Now, the US has its hands completely bloody, is completely dirty, and is now continuing this evil bombing campaign, or rather, it went ahead with sanctions and went ahead with completely imbalanced, prior to Trump, imbalanced nuclear trade deals or nuclear agreements, which put gave the US and Israel more of an advantage, because of course they both are nuclear powers. But they also want to ensure that the country of Iran does not have their own nuclear bombs, even though the very existence of nuclear arsenal is a deterrent to a country like Israel or the US, bombing them, because quite clearly, they are bombing. They're bombing Iran. They bombed Iraq. They bombed Syria. They bombed Lebanon. They bombed Palestine, because these countries do not have nuclear weapons, and they would never bomb, or directly bomb Russia, because of course Russia have a nuclear arsenal of their own. They will not directly bomb the North Korea, because of course they themselves have a nuclear arsenal of their own. So quite clearly, having a nuclear deterrent in today's psychopathic dog eat dog world, where the US and Israel sees itself as this kind of moral arbiter, this kind of police force in the world, you need some sort of defense shield against that, and that is the having a nuclear deterrence. And so, all in all, this fixation on this down pilot is a deflection from the crimes of America, and to kind of Hollywoodize it, to kind of center the narrative of America as human beings, and people in Iran as not human, not worthy of in consideration of an acting part, but the extras in this kind of manufacturing of consent, of ensuring that Iran are treated as the evil bad guys, America are the good guys coming in, and the fighter pilot being this. Of course, we've been saturated in our media. We all watch Hollywood films, and so this pilot is seen as kind of this Top Gun kind of character who was downed in a war, but he's going to be rescued. We've seen this. This is manufacturing consent. It's also the centering of American and Israeli narratives, and dehumanization of the villains in the story, rather than the ones who are at the receiving end of being bombed. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.